Welcome to Dinner Party Conflict, the podcast where we answer your questions so you can have the best tabletop gourmet experience possible. My name is Gabe.
And my name is Jeff.
And we're going to answer your questions today. But first, I have a question, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
How are you cooking today?
I'm doing pretty good. About medium rare.
Okay.
That's how I like it.
Yeah, see, sometimes when I ask you that question, it means, how are you doing? Other times it means, like, literally, how are you cooking?
Yeah.
Today, I grilled. I think I talked last time about it's finally getting to the weather where I can grill some burgers.
Oh, yeah.
I grilled some burgers and some hot dogs today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they turned out pretty good. I think last week, I hadn't done it in a long time, so they came out a little overdone. But no, this time it was just about perfect.
Yeah, it's those first few times when you use the grill, you gotta find the right time, and like sometimes you gotta like do some extra cleaning on it and stuff like that to make sure it's evenly heated. Luckily my grill's only a couple years old at this point, so it's still working pretty well. Yeah,
my grill, I desperately need to clean it out. Not like the grill portion. The grill portion,
right.
like I clean it every time I use it, but when around Thanksgiving time, I was trying to smoke a turkey.
Yeah,
and I had so many troubles with that, but I was putting charcoal in the smoker, and then I had to do something with the charcoal I had to dump out the charcoal so I could put fresh charcoal in, and I didn't want to just like dump it on the ground or in the garbage.
Right, yes.
So at the time, because it was like the middle of winter, I tossed it into the grill, like the barbecue grill, with the intention of eventually going and cleaning it all out. But I never did. I've just kind of pushed it all to one side.
Sure.
So
yeah, we'll have to one of these days do an episode on like grill safety and stuff like that.
I agree.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
Yeah, backyard fiascos, like backyard grilling fiascos. Is a big problem.
Well, we'll get to some fiascos later in the episode.
Sure.
Just stay tuned. All right, you want to go ahead and get into the episode?
Sure. Let's go.
Okay. Well, Jeff, I want you to imagine that one day you wake up. When you wake up, your first thought, of course, is, oh man, there's that potluck going on tonight.
Nice.
And you were told you didn't need to bring anything. You're told there was going to be enough people bringing food. You're all set. You're fine. So you wake up, you're all relaxed. You're getting your hunger going. And then you glance at your phone and you realize that you have a text from your fiance, Skylar.
Okay.
And she tells you that something went wrong and they need another dessert.
Uh-oh.
At the potluck.
Okay.
And you start to freak out. You're like, oh no, what am I going to do? I haven't planned out anything. Mm-hmm. But you get into the kitchen and you realize, oh my goodness, okay, Skylar has you covered. She's already got all the ingredients together. And you know where those ingredients are, Jeff?
Where are they at?
They are sitting on the cutting board. Okay. All right, so our cutting board recipe for today is a Nutella Mug Cake.
Oh.
Now, this isn't... that story was not quite related. It would be a little odd showing up to a potluck with a whole bunch of little individual mugs. Although, I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
It depends on the crowd. Depends on the crowd.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You gotta play to the party.
Right. So with this one, this is a pretty simple recipe. This was submitted by Snack Blaster on Reddit. And this recipe, they say they are not a huge fan of these mug cakes generally because of the texture.
Right,
but they found that the Nutella makes this one a lot better, especially if you have some ice cream in the freezer and it needs a sidekick.
Okay.
So for this recipe, you're going to need a quarter cup all-purpose flour, that'd be way too much, a quarter teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, quarter cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of Nutella. And that's it. Those 5 ingredients. You just mix them in a bowl or a mug and put it in the microwave for about a minute.
Nice.
And that's it. They even included a little video of them doing the recipe.
Awesome. Yeah, with the microwave thing, like the cakes and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree. The textures are usually just they're not
just
there.
A little off.
Yeah, it's just something weird about it. But I'll have to try this one out because because it's like a convenient little dessert. I'm always looking for just a something a little and sweet to get me by. Like I don't want to dig into a whole cheesecake, which I can definitely do.
Oh, definitely. I'm actually, at the time of this, by the time this episode comes out, it will have come and gone. But at the time of this recording, Easter is coming up.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And my wife gave up sweets for Lent, so she asked me if I could make a pumpkin cheesecake for her for when Easter comes around.
Sure.
I will probably be doing that this weekend, right before it comes around.
Yeah, Gabe's pumpkin cheesecake is pretty awesome.
It is. I'm not to toot my own horn, but it's true. Also, one more thing about my wife. She's made some of these like mug cakes before, and she found a recipe to cut down on calories that uses applesauce as like most of the filler. I don't know.
Sure.
I probably should have looked this up before bringing it up, but rather than I think you replace like some of the flour or something with applesauce, and it gives it a little different taste. But it's similar enough, in texture in the finished product.
I would think it would actually kind of add something to the texture because applesauce definitely has sort of almost like grainy texture. I've never been to like apples in general. Like I love the flavor of apples.
Yeah.
Like the things you can do with apples are great, but like when I was younger, I just hated like just biting into an apple. I just didn't like the texture. Like the graininess always just didn't sit well with me. Now there are some varieties of apples, and we can again get into this on another episode of
Sure.
Yeah, but like there are different varieties of apples. There are some that are actually like Honey Crisps.
Yeah, Honey Crisps are pretty good. I would say Pink Lady apples are like the best apples I've ever had.
I just like Honey Crisps because it's got that snap when you bite them, and they're not too grainy. They're actually they're a bit tougher.
Okay, yeah.
So like they're more crunchy than soft and grainy.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can talk about apples all day.
Yeah, and I think when my wife made these recipes with applesauce, I think we even had homemade applesauce at the time because there's a farmer's market actually right over by where you live.
Oh, right.
That they often have just like big crates full of just whatever it's about to expire, so they just give a whole crate for like $2.
Right, yeah.
We bought a ton of apples. She made a ton of applesauce and then froze it all. I think that's what she was using for
nice.
that. Well, anyway, so I think that'll do it for the cutting board today. Before we get on to the rest of the episode, though, I want to remind everybody to check out our fellowship members. We've got Crepe Academy. Justin, Brandon, and Ian, they bring you new and reusable recipes for chefs and home cooks alike. Just recently, they went through an entire, like an episode-by-episode coverage of all of the different cultivations of Brassica oleracea. So, like, for example, I loved their episode about broccoli. I mean, I love broccoli.
Yeah.
I love cooking it. I loved seeing all of the different things that you can do with it, and how it makes other recipes better, and so on and so on.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get into it too much, but the Brussels sprout. Yeah. Like I don't cook with Brussels sprouts. Like I don't think I've had Brussels sprouts in forever, but like a couple of the things that they suggested, I'm like, that does sound pretty good. Yeah.
This is a huge tangent I don't need to go on, but I recently made Brussels sprouts actually. When my wife was out of town, I made myself this, big expensive dinner. And one of the things I made was a recipe. It was like Brussels sprouts and maple syrup or something like that.
Okay.
With like walnuts in it. And it was really, really good. And I never really had Brussels sprouts when I was a kid.
Right.
But within the last couple of years, I figured I'd try them out, and they're actually pretty good.
I would imagine so. Like we've kind of talked about this before where like when you grow up, your taste buds do change. But at the same time, like this species of plant is being selected for its flavor at this point. Like broccoli today does not taste like broccoli used to.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's kind of like you can't like bananas. Like banana flavored candy doesn't taste like bananas that you ever
right.
It's it's that sort of thing. So like broccoli has been getting better tasting over time. Whether or not that's doing anything to its like nutritional properties, I'm not too sure. And we're not going to really touch on the GMO thing. Right. We've said it. We've
gone over that.
Yeah, we've said it many times. We're just it's like there's arguments on both sides, and it's just we try to stay away from those sort of things.
Well, anyway, so again, that was a big tangent, but yeah, Crepe Academy, great podcast. You can check them out at crepeacademy.com. Our other fellowship member is D&D Cholesterol Lab. The two hosts, Garen and Dan, they make drinks and desserts and then debate their validity in a restaurant. I think it's just such a fun podcast. Like, when have you ever not wanted to just sit down and just make a bunch of just write out a bunch of desserts?
It is a guilty pleasure to both eat the food and listen to the podcast.
Definitely.
So yeah, no, I'm just desserts.
Yes.
And I mean, some of the drinks that they've made are actually pretty interesting. They did a what was it? It was like they did like a Bloody Mary. Where they infused the vodka with tomatoes.
That's pretty cool. Now, I'm not a drinker personally, but
sure.
If I was going to start drinking, it would probably be to try drinks like that and just see like what all these new flavors are that I've never gotten.
Yeah, because like, not everybody wants to drink to get drunk, because like some alcoholic beverages are just like they just taste good. They're different. Mm-hmm. Like some of them are like it's strong or whatever. But because like like I know a lot of people who don't like when they drink socially, they like to drink something nice like that. They don't they're not just gonna like throw. They might at the very most they're gonna have like a nice like fancy like scotch or something like that.
Sure.
But in most cases, I'll see them drinking something like a margarita or a Bloody Mary or a daiquiri or something that's going to have more, like a little bit more to it. There's an actual recipe involved, not just throwing together a couple, liquids.
Yeah. So yeah, that's D&D Cholesterol Lab. I'm pretty sure their website is dndcholesterol.blogspot.com. All right, and before we get to questions, we do have a giveaway for this episode. The wonderful recipe creator Pizza Stone has created this recipe book. It is titled Kitchen on the Cliffs, and it's a recipe book for novice to intermediary chefs.
Sure.
So we're going to be giving away a copy of this, and the winner for today's episode is Craig Hudson.
Ooh, yay!
Dinner! Gobble, gobble, gobble. So congratulations, Craig Hudson. If you like this product or if you don't like this product, please let Pizza Stone know. Let them know what you think. Then they can take your feedback and make it better. Maybe add some new recipes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then if anybody else would like to enter this drawing, it's very, very simple. You just need to send us an email at DinnerPartyConflict@gmail.com with
Kitchen on the Cliffs
in the subject line. Yes. All right. So, Jeff, you want to go ahead and get into some questions?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Cool.
All right, our first question. This was on Reddit, and this comes from the only Jorkiv, which I believe he's like a soccer player. Or
I
something
think
like that.
So. Yeah.
I think
you did a better job pronouncing it than I would.
I gave it a shot. And they ask, where does one draw the line when deciding whether to make something from scratch, and is it worth the extra time and difficulty compared to buying ready-made?
That's a good question because, it's like, especially back when there was a point where my wife and I were like, we were super poor for a while. We would we would cut coupons. We would buy all the generic brands of everything. And there was a time where we tried looking at what things are better to be cooked yourself and what things are better to be bought from the store.
Right.
And really, like, that is a way that you can save a lot of money. Not to say that people are only poor because they buy name brand stuff or whatever, but like if you get in the habit of making food at home, you can be much more in better control of the money you have.
Yeah.
But it is the trade-off is time and effort and so on. So this is a good question. There are definitely some things that I would say are not worth making on your own.
Okay.
I don't know what sort of examples you have, but I would say pasta.
Sure.
There was a time a few years ago, I decided, I'm going to make pasta. Now, we didn't have a pasta maker at the time, but even still, like, we've gotten one since, and I haven't made it, but I'll get to why I haven't made it. It took all day.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like it was like basically just like flour and eggs, if I recall correctly. You mix them together, and then like you got to roll it out so many times until it's super duper thin. And then if you have a pasta maker, like, you can roll it through the thing and it'll cut it into strips or whatever. I didn't at the time, so I just kind of like, cut them by hand. But I had to roll it out so many times. It took so long to mix it together. And it took literally hours. And by the time I had it done, I cooked the pasta, we ate it, and it wasn't bad. I would say it was pretty good, but it wasn't worth spending the entire day when I could have just gone to the store and for the exact same cost as the ingredients, just bought a box of pasta.
Yeah, there are some things like that, like staples, basically. Like things.
Don't eat staples.
Don't eat people. Not staples, but like food staples.
Yep.
Like you go to the market and you buy potatoes, and that, like, it's like you're obviously gonna pick up bread and eggs and stuff. Those are staples.
Yeah.
pasta noodles is for us. That's one of them. It's like
absolutely
always grab a few, like because it's like a $1 or $2 for a
it's
pound.
so cheap and it goes so far.
Yeah, exactly. And like we don't even use it all. Like you break them in half or only use half of them, whatever you want to do. Yeah, it's just like making that's sort of that is one of those things where like if you want to do it. Like if like you have it's a family tradition or something like that, you know. Or if you got the machinery to do it, where it doesn't take quite as much time. Or maybe it's a dietary thing, like you just really want buckwheat, pasta, but you can't find any for under a certain amount. It's much cheaper to buy a bulk thing of buckwheat flour and go with that. So in a lot of cases it could just be a dietary need where you have to make things by hand because you just can't find your specific needs in a cheap pre-made fashion.
And not even just dietary, but just if there is a specific type of something, let's say there's a specific type of pasta you wanted that you can't get at the store. Maybe you want your pasta to have tomatoes in the pasta, or like you want it to have like basil in the pasta or something. That's cool. You're probably not going to find that at the store, and if you do, it's probably going to be really expensive.
Yeah, so, it's definitely not. It's going to be. Yeah, it's not going to be cheap.
Yeah. So in that case, I would say, go ahead and try making it on your own. I kind of, the rule of thumb that I go by is that I am willing to try to make something from scratch, make anything from scratch once.
Sure.
Whether I'm going to do it a second time is going to depend on number one, how easy was it?
Yep.
Number two, how much of my day most of the time when I make something from scratch, I try to go all out. So I usually end up kind of setting aside the whole day in order to make sure it's good.
Right. Yeah. You never know what's going to go wrong, or if you're going to figure out you missed something and you got to go back to the market and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. I do that all the time. And so if I'm just trying to make something for the first time, if I'm like, I've never made this before, let me try it out. Then I'll do it from scratch, even if it looks like it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
But then after I've done it the first time, I'll see how much work it was and all that. Then I'll taste it and I'll say to myself, okay, is that worth trying to make again?
Yeah. So it's
sometimes it is, sometimes not.
So you got to weigh how much time it takes. If the difference in flavor is worth it, even cost, is like you said, it's like you might be spending just as much on the ingredients as you would just buying it pre-made.
Yeah.
And then also if it is just taking way too much time, but you could buy an appliance or utensil or something that will help you out. You got to weigh that into the cost as well.
That's true.
I mean, it's like if you have this recipe and it's this homemade something or other, and you can, and it's really good, but you have to have the expensive piece of equipment for it.
Yeah.
It would be worth it if you're going to be doing it more often than not.
Right.
If it's just if it's a family recipe or something, then that might be worth it then.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword if you have to buy machinery or utensils for it, because on one hand, it's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to want to make this again, so I don't know if I want to put in the money. But then number two, if you make this thing and in order to make it, you have to spend $50 on an appliance just to do it, you're kind of going to feel like, well, now I have to make it a whole bunch of times.
Right, yeah.
So you might even start resenting the dish because...
you end up with a cupboard full of, mixer...
Exactly.
Peripherals.
I think on Good Eats, Alton Brown refers to a lot of things as unitaskers. Anything that is just serves one purpose in the kitchen. And generally speaking, he says that is, you should not own any of those, with two exceptions, I want to say. I think one of them is a garlic press. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly what.
That is a necessity in my kitchen.
See, personally, I don't like using a garlic press. I prefer just to cut it myself.
I mean, that's not a bad way to go either. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, something about crushing those little guys.
I guess.
getting all the juices out. Oh, it's so good.
Oh my god,
love garlic.
Garlic is so good. So Lisa was my wife. She's been trying to get some garlic. Not garlic. I've got garlic on the brain. She's been trying to get gardening stuff going because it's starting to get warm enough outside.
Right. Yeah.
And she just discovered how easy it is to plant garlic. You basically just get a bunch of garlic, you just break them apart, put them in the ground, and then each one becomes another plant.
Yeah, there'll be times where a stray onion will get out of my reach, and then I won't notice it, and then suddenly there's a plant growing in my kitchen.
Yeah. So this is a tangent, but this is gonna sound very strange.
Okay.
We have 2 pet rabbits. One of our pet rabbits started growing a plant.
Well, I'm sorry.
We gave them, because we had bunny food is often like seeds and stuff like that. And there's one time that one of the seeds that was in their food, I come to think of it, most of the food we give them now is not seeds. It is basically like compressed hay. But at one point we did have some bunny food that had seeds in it, and one or more of the seeds found its way into their water bowl.
Okay.
And then we didn't notice it for a couple days, and next thing we knew, it had started to sprout. And we're thinking to ourselves, like, our rabbit just became a farmer.
That's a little different.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, goodness. All right.
I'm sure it wasn't intentional, of course.
Sure.
But still. So basically, to answer the question, I draw the line that for me, there really isn't a line until after I've made something once.
Sure.
And then after I've made it once, I really just kind of look at whether I feel like making it again.
Yes.
If I don't feel like making it again, it was probably too much work or too much money or whatever. And I just relegate that to being one of the things that I buy.
Yeah. So like a lot of things, it comes down to personal preference. So it's but at least if it sounds good, give it a shot.
Sure.
But yeah, you probably don't want to don't put too much money into it. So so again, like Gabe does, just set the day aside.
Pretty much,
you know, pick a weekend or something like that and say, like, this is the day I'm going to try homemade pasta.
Yeah.
And just give it a shot.
And I guess for me, I'm not rich by any means, but I do have disposable income for stuff like this. So for me, like, I do set the bar a little high for like what I'm willing to spend money on. If it sounds like it could be really good made homemade, I'll spend a lot more money. I'll spend more money on it, honestly, than I would have spent at a restaurant getting the same thing.
Sure. Yeah, that's
kind of, it sucks when it happens. Like, I'll look back and I'll be like, wow, I could have gotten that at a restaurant for half the money.
And not have to do any of the work.
I love to cook.
Right.
So the experience is kind of what I'm paying for.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of what we all got in common here. So, all right. So our next question comes from You Are Not the Father. That was on Reddit, and they ask, with things like competitive barbecue, food porn, and so on, they set up unrealistic expectations and encourage wasting food in favor of appearance and competition. Where's the balance between loving food and respecting food?
Yeah,
so this is when, like,
a good one.
When you're making things by scratch, but you're going so overboard with the presentation, or just trying to or with some sort of gimmick because you're trying to compete in something like this.
Sure.
Yeah,
I can definitely understand how it sets up unrealistic expectations, because I'm sure we've all seen those videos. They're always like shot from directly above the cutting board.
Oh, goodness.
And then it just shows them, like, mixing these things together, and it's all sped up, and then like whatever, and then it comes out just looking beautiful. So many times I've watched one of those and been like, well, dang, now I know what I'm making tomorrow.
Right.
And then when I make it, it's like, oh, there's a huge mess everywhere, and this doesn't look good at all, and doesn't even taste that great either.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind in all of these things that, like the food porn and the competition, it's a production. It's a video production.
Definitely.
There is editing. There is, there's things like, it's like they prep so much beforehand. There's way more. They use way more dishes than I would ever want to clean in one day. Like, it's like in like cooking shows and stuff like that, they have each ingredient in an individual little dish.
Yes, they do.
I would never do that because that's so many dishes.
Yeah, and also just so much time getting everything out ahead of time.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you had a bunch of people running around your kitchen prepping stuff for you, you would probably be okay with that.
I would love a kitchen staff. I would it would be the best, but it's it's not within my budget.
I remember when I was in high school and I was first starting to realize that I enjoyed cooking. I used to really like watching Iron Chef. Mm-hmm. And I had a dream once where, like, I was in Kitchen Stadium, and they were like, make whatever you want. And I was like so excited because I would get to try all this stuff. And then I woke up, and this is a terrible story because people hate hearing about dreams. But I would love to have a kitchen staff and a fully stocked kitchen with all sorts of stuff I could try
out. So yeah, it's with those food porn little like clips and stuff you see on like Facebook and everything. Like there will always be a string of YouTube videos of people trying it out and failing miserably.
Yeah,
I think one I remember getting kind of big was, I think it was the cauliflower grilled cheese sandwich. So instead of using bread, they use they grilled cauliflower into like little patties almost, and use them as like the bread. And it just ended up being just a mess because they were used like eggs and stuff, because everyone knows that eggs are like eggs and egg whites specifically are really good at binding things together.
Yes.
But you just end up making like a frittata at that point. Like it's because if you have to be so deliberate in like the shape and form of it that you're taking so much extra time just to make it look like a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
When you could just either have a grilled cheese sandwich, or maybe have a grilled cheese sandwich, but put some mash some cauliflower and put it in the sandwich.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be bad. But I understand, like, okay, you want like a gluten-free thing,
sure,
or a or you're just trying to be like lower carb or something like that.
Sure.
Then just have like a frittata. Like use those same ingredients, but make it into something that isn't going to be a complete mess.
Yeah,
I trying to make things that they aren't. I don't know. That might be one of my pet peeves in the kitchen, is trying to make something that it isn't. And it's like you can make something delicious with those ingredients, but you're just trying to shape them like other food.
Yeah. That's a different topic. That's a weird topic of like finding foods that look like one food but are actually something different.
Yeah. I mean, like I guess there's something to be said about like vegetarian meats and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like veggie chicken and things like that, like different like soy products and stuff that they try to like match the taste and texture of meat. I get that, because like there is, people do like meat is delicious.
Yeah.
And if you're really trying to avoid meat for one reason or another, but you want a burger or something like that, or at least something as close as possible, that's one thing. But I think in the case of these food porn things, it bothers me a little bit.
Yeah. There's a YouTube channel. I almost don't want to recommend anybody actually watch it because it is so disturbing. There's a YouTube channel called How to Basic.
Okay.
Are you at all familiar with that?
No, I don't think so.
I'll put one in. I'm going to mention one of their videos. I'll put it in the show notes, but I'll say viewer discretion is advised. I'll explain it this way. Here's how it was introduced to me. One of my friends on Facebook, she put up a video that was like, it's something about like, this is why I don't like gluten-free, or like, this is why I don't like vegan recipes or something.
Sure.
And it was a video that it's called like how to make a vegan Oreo chocolate cake or something like that. And it starts out, it's totally one of those like food porn things. It's like got this picture, this video of this cake, and it just looks so good. It's like circling around the cake.
Right,
and
yep.
then they're like,
high
so
production.
easy. Very high production.
Yep.
Then they show like how to make it. They start off with like this many Oreos, and they show them mashing it up in the thing. And then like you put them in there, and then it mixes all the stuff together. And then it's like, and then you put it in the oven. They put it in the oven, and by this point, it's actually not looking very appetizing. But it's like whatever, they'll get to that point.
Sure.
They already showed the finished product, and then it devolves into throwing raw meat into the batter, throwing eggs at the batter, smashing the batter into the table that causes the table to break, dumping milk all over the table, throwing like the studio lights and speakers into the batter, meat, eggs mixture. And it's so disgusting. And clearly it's a spoof, obviously,
right.
But I didn't realize that.
Well, I want to say that Oreos by themselves are not vegan.
They are, actually.
Are they?
They are now. They didn't used to be.
Oh.
But they are.
Interesting.
It was like a few years ago, they made a big thing like, hey guys, we're vegan now.
Nice. Oh, well, didn't know that. Well,
yeah.
Even better, because I love Oreos.
Oreos are so good.
They're so good.
But like apparently, I looked at the rest of this channel. Again, it's called How to Basic.
Uh-huh.
All of their videos are like that, except this is the only one that actually goes that far to make you think it is about what it says it's going to be about.
Sure.
All of them, it'll say like, oh, how to make your computer run faster. And then it'll have like a picture of like a fast computer. Then you click on the link and it shows a computer, and then it basically has them like smashing the computer apart, dumping eggs into the computer, sticking the computer to the ceiling, throwing things up at the ceiling at the it's
oh my goodness,
ridiculous. And I guess that's just their whole shtick. But this was the first video of theirs I had seen, and so it completely took me by surprise.
There's another like comment, like spoof-esque thing, but it's you suck at cooking.
Okay,
have you seen any of those videos?
Not.
It's a good one. It's a good laugh, but there are like a couple of them have some actually decent recipes in them.
Okay.
But it is mostly just like he'll chop an onion with his brain, like he'll cut it together so it looks like he's chopping things with his mind.
Sure.
Or I think one time it was for like Super Bowl Sunday, he was making like nachos or something like that, and he cut something, but he taped a knife to a basketball and was chopping things with it.
That's pretty good.
So there's some funny things out there.
Sure. So to actually answer the question,
Sure.
one thing that I want to mention is that. Think of these food porn videos or whatever. Think of them like a movie.
Okay.
If there is a movie that is about, working in a hospital, for example, because I've worked in a hospital, they are never accurate. Mm-hmm. The goal isn't necessarily to portray what you're watching in a completely realistic manner.
Right.
However, it is possible that a movie about working in a hospital could get someone interested in working in a hospital.
Right. Yeah. It inspires you to, look into like getting going into med school.
Exactly. So just because a recipe or a video that shows this recipe being made unrealistically, it might still get a lot of people, especially the better it looks, it's going to get more people to try it out. Mm-hmm. And I think that they probably purposely make it look especially simple, because the more simple it looks, the more people will realize, maybe cooking isn't all that hard. Right. Now, of course, it is a bit misleading. And then if they try it out and it is really hard, then maybe they'll get discouraged. But not everybody will. Some people will see this video and say, maybe this is easier than I thought. And then they might find out that they love cooking because of it. Even if it is a bit unrealistic, I think that it is possible to love and respect food and also support videos like this. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that those are mutually exclusive.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think the production of it, it's like sort of overdone and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there is a use for it. There is some good that can come from it.
Yeah. I would say the end result is probably still good, especially because they also mentioned like barbecue competitions.
Yeah.
Every barbecue competition I've seen, not that I've watched a ton, but everyone that I've seen, the people are having a blast.
Absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
And so, like, if you can see these people are having a lot of fun, I want to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's still
you're going to try it out.
It is still all for the love of food. Yes, companies have come in and have started to make their dollar off of it. Like,
right.
They're like the food TV, the Food Network boom of the late aughts. It was just like there were just so many shows, and they're still going. But there was a huge boom in TV chef personalities.
Yeah.
Like in the last decade or so, and which I loved.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I loved watching those shows.
I mentioned I worked in a hospital for a while. And when I did, I worked the night shift, and a lot of the time my job would just be like either feeding patients that couldn't feed themselves, or just like watching, just checking in on people, make sure they're doing all right. And it was very common for them to have the Food Network on, because it was like one of the few cable channels that was just always putting out something that was interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And so if I was like sitting feeding somebody dinner and I'll be watching these shows, it gave me so many ideas of stuff to make myself, because I'd be watching like Robert Irvine or somebody like that, or Gordon Ramsay making these things that looked really good. And it's like, I want to do some more of this. Mm-hmm. So I definitely attribute a lot of my love for cooking to the Food Network and shows like that, even if they aren't realistic.
Right. Yeah. So like, For every producer and production company and stuff like that is turning this into just a commercial mess. Mm-hmm. There is also behind them is somebody who does love cooking.
Sure.
And so that's it's give and take.
Yeah. So to answer the question, it's really hard to strike a balance, because I don't think there has to be a balance. I think as long as this is out there, I think it is still going to be the end result is still going to be a net positive.
Yeah.
I think that people are still going to be getting interested and still doing more cooking because of all of these quote unquote unrealistic food presentations.
Sure. Okay, our next question. It's a bit of a controversial one.
Yes.
This one comes from Elijah on Reddit. Gabe,
Yeah.
are hot dogs a sandwich?
Now, before I answer this question, how about we do this?
Okay.
Because we've sort of talked a little bit about this.
Right.
To be honest, I don't recall exactly what your answer was. But
I didn't give an answer.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No, I did not give an answer yet.
That would be why then.
And I don't know your answer either.
Okay. Then I'm going to count down from 3, and then let's both say our answer at the same time.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, answer.
Yeah. Also, I'll do a little dry run first. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, answer. So it's actually counting up to 3, whatever.
Okay.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3.
No.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, if I could, let me extend my answer a little bit.
Sure.
Yes, but who cares?
Okay. Well, yeah. No, that's I mean, that thought did come to my mind.
Yeah.
While I was thinking about this over the a couple of weeks.
Couple weeks since we got this question. Yeah.
So, I would say no.
Mm-hmm.
Because look, I'm just gonna try to keep it as simple as possible. I would say no because the main part of the food is the hot dog itself.
Okay.
A hot dog is meat in a casing.
Sure.
And it's like you'd eat a sausage on a plate, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily. You're more likely to eat a sausage on a plate than you would a slice of ham.
Okay.
I guess that's not necessarily true. See, yeah, this is
because I would say the argument of whether it is or not is pointless.
Sure.
Because the only end result, the only thing that is to be gained by classifying whether something is or is not a sandwich is to limit what people can call a sandwich.
Okay.
Like the only goal is negative, is to say, no, you can't say that.
Yeah, I only want to say no just because of things like the way that hot dogs are prepared. Not just hot dogs specifically. When I think of this question, I think hot dog, not just hot dogs, but I think of like kielbasa.
Okay.
Many different types of like sausages, like Italian sausage, like a really good Italian sausage. It's on a bun, but you got like grilled onions and peppers on it and things like that. Yeah, I almost want to say it is more a salad than a sandwich at that point because it's like you got toppings. You don't put toppings on a sandwich.
I mean, you
can put condiments on them, but you're also putting them in them. It's or like an open face sandwich sort of thing.
Because an open. I mean, I'm not trying to change your mind at all. I'm just saying like this is how I look at it because really. The answer to this is that it's going to depend on your own personal definition of what a sandwich is.
Yeah, but that's not the point of the question.
I know.
It's supposed to create controversy,
right? And I mean this was big on Reddit for a while.
Absolutely.
It was like people arguing over whether a hot dog is a sandwich.
And I'm sure wars were fought and many deaths on both sides.
Yes, but like an open face sandwich is a sandwich. I mean, it's got sandwich in the name, but at the same time. A knuckle sandwich has sandwich in the name, and it's just a fist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Someone punching you in the face.
So I just think, like, personally, I define a sandwich as anything that has layers and is not primarily liquid. Okay. If that makes sense. Like,
so cake? Is a cake a sandwich, Gabe?
Man, wow. I hadn't thought of that, actually.
I know.
Man. Jeff, you just blew my mind.
You know what else? So sandwiches are not like cakes. You know what else aren't like cakes? Ogres. Ogres are not like cakes.
Okay.
Ogres are like onions, Gabe.
That's true. That's true.
Sorry.
That's fine. Man, wow, the cake one really, because every argument that I could use against it would disqualify almost everything that I do consider a sandwich. Well,
so does a sandwich have to involve bread?
No, because I would say, I would say no. I can understand a lot of people saying yes.
Yeah.
Because I would say, like, you can still have a sandwich that has lettuce instead of bread, but then I'm sure a lot of people would consider that a wrap.
Yeah, wrap or...
But it's not wrapped.
Or if you're familiar with the chain Jimmy John's and Unwich.
Oh. That was a wonderful sound you made.
Just making those. Just a
little dry heave there.
Yeah, the thought of making those things is, oh, jeez.
Yeah. Because like, okay, hamburger's a sandwich, right? I mean, come on. It's what is it if not a sandwich?
I guess it has to be.
And with a hamburger, you can have a hamburger with lettuce instead of a bun. I just made 2 for my wife earlier. Yeah.
I will fight. Hamburger is not a sandwich.
Okay.
I think in the same way that a hot dog is not a sandwich, it's because it's the preparation of the thing that is going in it. It's like you're preparing the filling more than the final product itself.
Yeah.
So like when you make a sandwich, you build it layer by layer.
Okay.
When you make a hot dog, you grill I guess if you're making it by scratch, you're filling a casing full of meat.
Sure. I don't think that's what.
It's
getting a little into the weeds.
Sure. But I mean, like, it's like you grill the, like, you're spending more time on the hot dog itself. You're spending more time on the patty for the burger.
Well, I mean, what if you make a roast beef sandwich? You're spending potentially hours on the roast beef.
Yeah, true.
You see, it's hard because I do feel like a lot of almost every argument not in favor, like against a hot dog being a sandwich, I feel like it also disqualifies something that you probably do consider to be a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thing. I mean, it's I'm trying to think of things.
And also, just to say, if you go to any fast food restaurant, they refer to their burgers as sandwiches. I feel a little weird about that because I never in the moment think of them as sandwiches. I feel like
I wouldn't say all restaurants, but I mean there are definitely ones that I've gone to where if you go to like the sandwich section of their menu, there's burgers at the bottom or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I guess Arby's had actual like what everybody would consider a sandwich,
right? Yeah, they have
on their menu for a while,
like little market sandwiches, or I think they still do actually.
Oh, maybe they do.
I get those every once in a while.
Okay. Although, I mean, they have roast beef sandwiches and they are...
You know who has a surprisingly good sandwich?
Who?
Like, if you're just looking for just a quick sandwich.
Sure. What?
7-Eleven.
Really?
It's weird. I know. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is probably just the worst thing you've ever heard.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. The bread that they use is really good. I mean, like, it's just the, you go to it's gas station food. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's fine. I mean, hey, that's what this show is for.
It's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a guilty pleasure, but I'm on the road a lot when I work. So it's like, it's either fast food or fast food. Like, it's it's really hard for me to bring stuff along. Sometimes I don't have time to actually stop and eat. I have to eat on the go. So it's harder for me to get to bring stuff along that I'll enjoy or that will be good for me. But 7-Eleven, they just have like this club, this triple decker club thing. It's made out of just regular loaf like bread, but it's good bread. Like the cheese is pretty. They have like 2 or 3 different types of cheese and a couple different types of meat. It's just a regular old just plain like slices of deli meat. It's nothing special, but I don't know. Like, I've had it a few times and I'm like, this is a pretty good sandwich. And I think it's the bread that saves it.
Yeah.
I want to say it's a whole wheat or something like that. I should read the label next time because they actually print the ingredients on the label. But yeah, that's just sort of, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just like it. I just when I got a chance to stop in, because some of the places I go on my job, there's a 7-Eleven nearby, and I'm like, I need to grab something like a bottle of water or something like that, and then I'll see the sandwich. I'll be like, yeah, okay, go for a sandwich right now.
Sure. Yeah. So as far as a hot dog goes, like it's really gonna depend on your own. Yeah. Your own values, I guess, as weird as that sounds.
So yeah, there's no really right answer for this. It's up to interpretation, and then and people will get very stingy on specifics when it comes to things like this.
Sure.
And like when it comes to like names and like vocabulary and like language and stuff like that, language is not static.
Yeah.
And like there'll be a lot of arguments on the specifics of like vocabulary and the uses of words and pronunciations of words.
Right.
Language is not static. It never has been, it never will be. There are different dialects, there are different accents, there are different languages based on the same like root language, and like it, things are going to change, things are added to the dictionary and people get mad about it, but like that's how words are formed. And when you
yeah, that's true.
One word, in one decade it can be used for one thing, and in the next decade it'll be used for another thing. That doesn't mean the second thing is wrong. It's just that's what it is now used for, and you might not like it, but that's just what it is.
Yeah,
you can continue to use it the way that you used to use it, and that's perfectly fine because because that's what it means to you. And if the person you are talking to understands that, then you are using it correctly. That's how you use a word.
Pretty much, yeah.
So. Except for in this case, it's not a sandwich, Gabe.
Well, I mean,
next question.
Let me ask you this. Let's say you accidentally cut the bun a little bit too far, and now you have two pieces. Is it a sandwich?
I had thought of that too. I was thinking like, no, because it's not two pieces of bread. But you could say like it because you're cutting it in half. You're just keeping it detached at the one end.
Or let's say you go to Subway and you get a sub.
Oh, is a meatball sub a sandwich?
I would say yes. Because with that, it is basically they just cut a line and just open it up like a hot dog bun. Which, small tangent, they didn't used to do that, did they?
What?
At Subway, I feel like when I was a kid, they would cut a section out of the top, take it out, put the stuff in, and then set that back on top. I mean, maybe I dreamt that up in a sub-fueled fever dream, but
not that I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't. Like they would cut like two ends and sort of like, and then
pretty much they would cut two lines down into the top and then physically take out the strip that was on top.
Yeah,
set it aside and then put the ingredients in it and then place it back on top.
Mention it. Maybe it wasn't Subway that did that, but
I don't know. Maybe.
But yeah, now that you mention it, that sounds familiar. I don't know.
I'll have to
look that up.
So yeah, like you said, I don't think there is a satisfying answer for this because every person draws the line somewhere else. I guarantee everybody has something they don't consider a sandwich or do consider a sandwich that invalidates other things that they do or don't.
Right. Yeah. It's where you personally draw the line in certain, in one way or another.
Right.
So yeah, very, very controversial here.
Yes. For some reason I thought that you said that when I first brought this question to your attention, I thought you did say what your answer was, but I guess in looking back you didn't, but you gave some other information.
Yeah, like I was giving it some thought for sure, but yeah.
Anyway, so I thought that we were going to agree on that. I think it's actually cool that we did.
I like that we did.
For the record, you agree with my wife. We did the same thing. When I told her about the question, she said, "Okay, let's count down from 3."
Right.
And then we said different answers.
Gabe had not told me his answer, but he did tell me that there was some disagreement.
I think it's a fun topic. I'm glad we got some talk out of that.
Gabe, I have another question.
Sure.
This one is again from the only Jerkiv. Sorry.
And there's a 1 on the end of that.
The only Jerkiv 1. Because it's the only one, obviously.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is actually the French footballer.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, they ask, is there a dish you'd refuse to cook if asked? So if I came over and I was like, hey, Gabe, could you make me this? Would you? Is there anything that you would just be like, no, I don't make those?
That's a good question. I would like to say no. Mm-hmm. I think that if there was anything that I would refuse, it would probably be something that required techniques that I know I don't have.
Sure, or if it just it's too complicated or it's going to take too much time. That sort of thing. I want to say, but for the terms of this question, I'm pretty sure they're going more for like it's sort of a like a personal preference, or it's a taboo for you or something like that.
I think maybe
like I would never cook my steak well done.
See, now
not that I would never. I used to eat well done when I was little, but I think that was more just my parents making sure my food was cooked or something.
Yeah. If I could go on a small little tangent about well done steaks. Sure. Now I don't cook well done steaks. Sure. I don't think I would eat one if I had one, but if I was making steaks and someone wanted one, I might suggest I go like medium well rather than well. But if they said, no, this is what I like, I wouldn't say no. Right. I wouldn't say, oh, I'm sorry, the thing that you like is not actually what you like. No, come on. If it is a conscious decision on their part,
right,
let them eat what. If they want to dump ketchup all over it, go for it. I don't care. Yeah. If they're paying me to do it, they're paying me to do it. And if whatever the case, for whatever reason, I am cooking for them, I've agreed to cook for them.
Yeah,
I'm not cooking for me. I'm cooking for them.
Well, sometimes you want to cook a specific thing for somebody. Like it's a special thing you like, and it's more you're sharing something with them.
Yeah.
So like if you want, it's a very specific recipe that calls for the meat to be cooked in a certain way or whatever, and like you give it to them and they look at it and go, oh, could you cook this medium or cook this a little bit longer, something like that. Like I can see some people taking that like as an insult almost, but I think in those like everybody has different tastes.
Absolutely.
Everybody has different tastes.
You might think that someone is passing judgment when they tell you, like if they say like, oh yeah, I want some ketchup with my steak, you might think, oh, they're saying they don't trust that I'll make a steak that's good enough on its own. That could be it, but you don't know that.
Yeah.
It might be that they've got really weird tastes and they don't like steak unless it has ketchup on it.
Yeah.
And as good as you think your steaks might be, I guarantee you're not going to change the world by making everyone try the steak that you think is the best.
Sure. Little tangent on ketchup. I love ketchup. I hate that I love ketchup, but I love ketchup.
I actually just had to talk with my wife earlier today because I made burgers and hot dogs today. And I had this weird memory from when I was a kid. I generally don't like ketchup. I'll sometimes eat it on fries, but generally I just don't like it. And for years, I would never touch it.
Sure.
And I remember when I was a little kid, I did like ketchup, but only on my hot dogs. And I had a memory of the last time I ever had ketchup on a hot dog. I was out camping. My Aunt Yvonne was there, and she was getting everybody hot dogs. I was a little kid at the time. And so she I wanted my ketchup just like squirted on the top. Like, that's how you picture ketchup on a hot dog. But instead of, speaking of hot dogs and sandwiches, instead of doing that, she squirted some on there and then rolled the hot dog so that it was like smeared all the way around the hot dog. And for some reason, my little kid brain was like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I do not want ketchup ever again. And I want to say it was years before I had ketchup on anything.
Oh my goodness.
And even nowadays, I would not want ketchup on a fries or a burger.
That is interesting. Yeah. I love ketchup, but I don't think I have it in any other form than on fries. Like I always get fries with whatever I'm eating at a restaurant, like fries and ketchup. Cause it's like, I'll be like, I'll go to a restaurant. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get a burger and fries and ketchup. Really, I just want the ketchup. I got the burger so I can get fries. I got the fries so I can eat ketchup.
Sure.
But I don't like a lot of ketchup on burgers. I don't like ketchup on hot dogs. I know a lot of people would scoff at the idea of ketchup on hot dogs. I mean, I'm not gonna criticize. I'm not gonna judge or anything like that. I'm not one of those people. But I mean, there are some people that are like the only condiments that go on a hot dog are mustard and relish.
Yeah.
But again, that sort of goes in line with the question. It's like, some people would never serve you a hot dog with ketchup on it.
Right.
They just wouldn't do it. They'd be like, no. It's just like, do you have any ketchup? Are those for the fries that we don't have? Because there ain't no fries, so you ain't getting no ketchup.
Right.
They'd be like, we're eating hot dogs tonight. Here's the mustard. Go nuts. And I'm sort of the same way where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna, if I'm making something for somebody and they want it done a certain way, I'm going to do my best to fill that, that request.
I feel like it is not the chef's job to judge what people want.
Right. I mean, like if you're coming to somebody's house and they are preparing you food, I mean, like I personally would, I don't have very many, I don't have any food allergies. I mean, I should be watching my sodium. I should be watching, the amount I eat and stuff.
I watch my sodium. I watch it go right down my throat.
Right. But I should be watching my diet a little bit better. But if I'm going to somebody's place, I'm going to try whatever they make. I'm going to try it.
Sure.
Because, like, one, I don't want to be rude, which, you know, it's not necessarily rude to refuse food. Like, you know, like, if you're not hungry, or if it's something that's not going to sit well with you, just be like, hey, I'm really sorry. I'm not, like, you know, I just can't stomach it right now. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, like, they might not take it well, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So I just say, like, everybody be respectful. Patrons, be respectful of the people that are cooking for you, and people that are cooking for you, be respectful of your patrons.
Yeah.
If the person you're cooking for wants something different, I mean, if they're being a jerk about it, maybe judge them on that. But, like, if they want something different, you know, do your best to give them what they're asking for. And people, when you ask for something, try to be aware of the person's time. If they're making a huge batch, don't be like, oh, I want mine to be different than everybody else's. You know, don't make yourself the center of attention.
Right.
I would say try whatever it is the cook is making you, and maybe you'll like it.
Yeah.
But if you already know that you don't like something,
sure,
I say that's fine. I say chefs, if they are taking the time to, like, tell you, hey, look, I prefer it like this, trust that they know what they like.
Yeah.
You know? Like, because I make steaks. I haven't made a lot of steaks on the grill, because I personally prefer making them in a oven? Skillet, or, well, I make them in a skillet. Okay. Actually, I've actually never cooked a steak in the oven, but
it's pretty good. Like, you just, you know, you brown the outsides and you put it in the oven. Yeah. It turns out pretty well.
Okay. Well, I like making them in a skillet, and there have been a few times where I've made them for my wife, and she always says, like, oh, I want mine, like, rare or medium rare or whatever. And to be honest, I'm not great at getting, like, a specific doneness, but I try for it. And I feel like every time I've given her a rare steak, she's been like, oh, this is really chewy. Can you put it back in for a little bit? And whenever I make steak, when I make it in a skillet, I find the best part is the crust on the outside.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of come to realize, like, I think I do like steaks a little more well done, because what I like is the really well seasoned, really crispy, really nice outside. And when the inside isn't very well done, it's too chewy, and so I don't like that. And I've suggested that to my wife, and she's had me start making things a little bit more well done for her.
I think you should move to the grill.
You think so?
Yeah, I've grilled some steaks. They're pretty damn good.
Oh, well, this summer I will. I'll try that out some more.
I did have a snafu last year. They turned out, like, black on the outside.
Oh my goodness!
Well, not black, but I mean, like, they're. I don't know. I forget exactly what happened, but basically, like, the temperature in the grill got, like, it was flaming up so much.
Probably because drippings.
Yeah, catching fire. I think what it was like the steaks I had were, I don't know. I think they sat in the freezer or the fridge too long or something like that, and, like, there was just too much drippings. I should have like dried them up a little bit or something, but. Yeah, it just ended up flaming up a lot, and it got really scorched, and I thought they were ruined. It still ended up being pretty good.
Cool.
Like, it was definitely like, dang it, I overcooked these things. But because it was, like, flash, you know, grilled. Yeah. Like, it was. I was more worried that the insides weren't going to be cooked enough.
Sure.
But it ended up being okay. Like, it was fine. I mean, I'm still alive. So.
What if you aren't, Jeff?
This is the afterlife?
This is the afterlife, yes.
Well, then, great.
If the afterlife is talking about food, high five.
Yes.
So to summarize the question, I would say there really isn't anything that I would refuse to cook. There's a lot of foods I don't like that I might not want to eat personally, but hey, if someone said they wanted me to cook something for them and I was in a position to do it, I'm not going to say, oh, I'll cook for you, but I won't cook that.
Right. Yeah.
Unless it was something that I knew I didn't have the skills or the equipment or the time or whatever, you know. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for questions for today. Okay. But before we finish out, I want us to, let's take a deep breath.
Okay. Compose ourselves.
Let's steel our resolve, and let's toss a handful of baking soda onto the grease fire.
Do not use elevators. Repeat, do not use elevators.
All right, so our story today for the grease fire was submitted by McCree is my baby on Reddit. And this is a little bit of a long story, but I think it's a good one.
Okay.
And there are going to be some swears in this story, so I'm going to be censoring. Okay. I hope you enjoy the way that I do it. All right.
This will be a treat.
This actually happened a few days ago. So I'm not a good cook by any means. I was home alone one day and decided to make some grilled cheese and soup. So after about 10 minutes of being a lazy chef, I decided to get up and start making the food. I make the grilled cheese just as chefed up as usual. One side burnt, other with too much butter and the cheese off center. I've been there, let's be honest here. Nothing out of the usual. But then we come to the soup. I've decided to make just some average chicken noodle soup, so I get everything out I need to make it, and when I have everything, I then realize I have a can of pre-made soup, just needed to heat it up in the microwave. This is where the chef hits the fan. I don't have any clean plastic bowls, so I have to use this glass one. I get the can of soup out and pour it into the bowl and put the bowl into the microwave. Set it to like 3 minutes or something, whatever it said on the can. I start the microwave and then I get a call from my mother. Little did I know my mother wanted to talk for 17 hours, so after a few minutes of talking, I hear something shatter in the kitchen.
Oh my goodness.
So I got off the phone and headed in there. I guess my dumb chef set the microwave to 30 minutes, not 3 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
And it was in the microwave for about 10 minutes, and the glass chefing exploded in the microwave. So now by this point, my grilled cheese is cold, and I have glass and soup sitting inside our microwave. After like 2 hours, I get everything cleaned up, and still a week later, my house smells like burnt soup.
Oh, no.
The too long didn't read section is don't set your microwave to 30 minutes.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I think when I was little, I was heating up some, like just a mug of water for some like hot chocolate or something.
Ooh, I think
like
I know where this is going.
Swiss Miss or whatever.
Yeah.
And I put it in there and, I set it for 3 minutes or whatever. And I sat down to watch some cartoons or something, and then like a few episodes later,
So was this still going?
yeah.
Oh my god! Okay, go on.
It was a mug. The mug survived.
Yeah.
But I learned about evaporation basically.
Oh, okay. I thought this story was going somewhere else.
I'd literally run the microwave for an hour.
What?
I had run the microwave for a full hour. I thought I'd set it for 60 seconds. I set it for 60 minutes.
Oh no!
And I went when the beep went off. I was like, "Oh right, yeah, I was making hot chocolate."
Oh,
I
my
don't
goodness.
even honestly in my memory, I don't remember the time going by.
Yeah.
Like I don't even remember like seeing the microwave ding and be like, "Oh right, I forgot." No, it was more just like, "Oh good, it's done." Like because I just was very easily distracted by cartoons and
then you opened the microwave and got superpowers from all the radiation coming from the cup, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
But no, like I just I opened the microwave and looked in the cup and it was empty. I'm like, what happened?
That's crazy. I thought this was going somewhere else. I've heard because I've taken a few cooking classes, and in the cooking classes I've always heard them say, if you're ever going to put a cup of water in the microwave for more than like a minute or two, you should put like a chopstick or something, not metal, of course, a chopstick or something in the water.
Yeah.
Because when you heat water with a microwave, it has a tendency to get superheated to the point where it is technically above boiling.
Right.
But it hasn't, the air bubbles haven't had a place to collect. So it doesn't actually start boiling until you disturb the water.
Right.
So it'll be heating up. You open the microwave, you grab the cup, and then suddenly it explodes. And like the water explodes and goes everywhere because it has been trying to boil this whole time.
Yeah.
So supposedly if you put a wooden chopstick in there, it gives the air bubbles somewhere to collect so that doesn't happen.
Sure.
That's where I thought this story was going.
Oh yeah, no. Like I think I had it in there so long that it just had done what just had done what it needed to do, and it like evaporated. So
my microwave, it's not I don't think the cooking time does this, but the timer on the microwave, like if you're just like setting a timer for something, but the microwave isn't actually running. Once you start the timer, there is no way to get rid of or restart the timer or stop the timer without it just running out of time. Like if you set it for 5 minutes, you meant to set it for 3 minutes, there is no way to reset it for 3 minutes aside from just waiting 3 minutes and then doing what you need to do. A few days ago, I was trying to set a timer for some pasta, I think, and I meant to set it for like 5 minutes. I actually set it for 50 minutes. And I was like, well, dang it. And I had to leave in 30 minutes. So it's like, well, I guess it's just going to go off sometime after I've left the house.
Oh, gosh.
So instead, I had to like sit there and watch for
it.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Well, I think that will just about do it for today.
Okay.
To submit questions for us to discuss, recipes for the cutting board, or stories for the grease fire, please email us at dinnerpartyconflict@gmail.com. For show notes or running list of questions asked and important links, go to dinnerpartyconflict.com. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/dinnerpartyconflict, or our subreddit at reddit.com/r/dinnerpartyconflict, where I post weekly discussion questions for you. We're also on Twitter at DinPartyConflict. Find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and YouTube, anywhere you download podcasts. Please rate, review, subscribe, or just tell a friend. We recently started a Patreon, so check out the rewards at patreon.com/dinnerpartyconflict. There's a few different tiers, so anything you can spare, even $1 a month, would go towards making the show better, and you'll get bonus content for it. Jeff, you want to tell us about Food Quest?
Food Quest is our YouTube channel where we eat food.
Yes. I love that channel.
Oh, gosh. This video is of us eating food and enjoying it.
And if you'd like to submit some of your childhood memories of going to the food court, either write them to us in an email or record it yourself and send it to me that way. Also, head over to bit.ly/dinnerpartyconflict to take a short survey about our show, what you like, what you don't like, etc. And just for taking it, you'll get 2 free printable cutting boards courtesy of Mary and Tom over at hollandaise.com. And our music is made by Box Cake Games from Aspartameless, the Baker's RPG. So, Jeff, until next time,
April Fools!